Yesterday it was announced that Achievement Hunter is ending. It's done.
Hey, it's like 3:20 in the morning. I'm kind of tipsy and you know, I'm a hypocrite on two fronts right now. I'm talking about Rooster Teeth and I'm wearing a Jeff shirt, but bear with me. This is going to be a long video. It's going to be important in a way. First, we're going to talk about guys like that. Secondly, we're going to talk about why I kind of owe a debt of gratitude to Achievement Hunter, the brand Achievement Hunter under Rooster Teeth, and, you know, one other lovely thing, and that is YouTube as a whole, and kind of try and break down a little bit of the behind the scenes bits. So, people like him have kind of existed in this community from the dawn of time, and it's quite remarkable. Back in 2008, when Rooster Teeth kind of launched the Achievement Hunter brand, I would have been more in terms of buying this doomsayer bit that was going on. There were a few other parts in time where I would have bought it, like during the Ryan situation, right? I would have been like, okay, that's a death blow, but it still persevered for a while. But back when it launched, it was a bunch of friends playing video games badly. And on paper, that sounds horrible. Now we have a slew of scuffed VTubers. So realistically, it wasn't too far off from where content would progress. Because most of these creators on Twitch don't play perfectly. We're not sitting down and watching somebody be frame perfect. We're watching them have fun. And that's where Achievement Hunter shined. But I want to address this part of the community in particular. Community. My primary content outside of podcasts exists in the realm of anime and manga, right? I'm also, the emo hair going on. And that's never a phase. I'm still, part of that culture. Colored hair and pronouns, if you will. So you can tell where my political leanings are for the doomsayer YouTubers that think Rooster Teeth went woke. Yeah, you leave your comments. I know they're coming anyway. I have never in my existence experienced such a toxic cesspool, borderline nuclear wasteland of a community than the Rooster Teeth community. I say that wholeheartedly. There is so much hatred built up for something you claim to love that anytime something negative happens, whether unfortunately there's some layoffs or, rightfully so, calling out the controversies that have happened, that's the end of the brand. Somebody leaves, of their own volition, like Ray, which is when I kind of stopped watching content originally. We'll get to that in a bit. That's the end of the company, right? How can you replace Ray, this stoic yes man, with a loud man from Boston who's up to my fucking hip, right? How can you replace him with that man? Regardless of, that, when you brought women into the mix in videos, it's a whole other ballgame of toxic. And I am disappointed still to this day. It took so long for them to be like, hey, stop being misogynistic pieces of shit. Treat them with the same respect that you treat the male creators, which arguably usually isn't very much to begin with. But still, you treated them with more respect than Lindsay and fucking Kai and Fiona and Mika. But all of that aside, every single time it was the end of the company. Oh, we're not going to go forward with this project. Dead. Brand's dead. We're going to kill off. The average YouTube channel only lasts 2 fucking years. And you got 15 years of content out of what is possibly the worst sales pitch on the planet. That is not a fucking failure by any stretch of the imagination. And this isn't a video for me to just sit here and fillet Rooster Teeth or Achievement Hunter. This is me sitting down and paying my respects to part of my childhood, paying respects to something that meant a lot to me at one point. I might have moved past it to the most part. I'm still going to sit down and watch the end of Red versus Blue because that was, the thing that brought me into really the YouTube content. I watched it on redversusblue.com, but it's what kind of made me convert to YouTube and then find a whole slew of other content. I wasn't the other way around for me. It was like, oh, my buddies are watching this thing called Red versus Blue because we all like Halo. I'm going to watch that. And then slowly I started into Achievement Hunter as well because it was the guys from Red versus Blue. But honestly, I owe this immense debt of gratitude to these people. This brand. This isn't me being parasocial. This is, if it had not been for my buddy dragging me back into the content that they were creating in the form of the off topic podcast, I would not have become a creator myself, because I saw the idea of a bunch of friends just sitting down at a table shooting the shit for an hour plus, sometimes 3 hours if they got really drunk, before they stopped drinking so much, and just having fun telling stories. But that kind of spawned me into doing this, and that I really, really have to pay my respects there, because I would have just been sitting stagnant doing nothing after college if I hadn't started doing that. And it really helped me branch out and be a lot more social and do a lot more fun, cool things. I've been able to interview famous comic book artists. I've been able to sit down and talk the shit with musicians. I've been able to do a lot thanks to that chance, that diving in based on a whim of watching a fucking podcast of a bunch of people be alcoholics. Just call it what it is. Alcoholics for a few hours a day. And that is really, really something to me. That is something very important in my life. So thank you to Achievement Hunter, to Rooster Teeth, to my buddies. But on the YouTube side of things, this is a channel, right? When you add a bunch of different things, types of content, the algorithm doesn't really know where the fuck to put. I can talk about this from firsthand experience, having manga reviews and podcasts and random bullshit videos of gaming all on the same channel. That's why views are down, and that's not why they're ending it. They want to do something different, but they don't want it to fail initially because the algorithm on that channel wouldn't know what the fuck to do with it, regardless of having the site that does much better for them, with the first subscriptions and all the ad reads and all the bullshit that they have there, which is their bread and butter. They want to give this new channel a chance. And regardless if it's my type of content, because I unfortunately will not be partaking, I will say I want them to succeed the same as I would want any other channel that isn't a piece of shit to succeed. And I mean that from a more political leaning than a content type of leaning. Again, colored hair and pronouns. I want to see Michael and Joe and Trevor and Alfredo succeed. And I would love to see Rooster Teeth as a brand succeed, so other generations can sit and have the same experience. I doubt that they will because content's changed so much. But I would love to live in this fantasy land where other generations will sit down and be able to experience some of the content that I got to experience and some of the opportunities I got to experience from this brand. That has meant a lot to me growing up. Peace.